Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today I want to talk about the question of what to use the Eternal Labyrinth Divine Font on. And this is being recorded during the Delirium League, so it's going to take into account some specific peculiarities about the Delirium League. Most importantly, that one particular unique helmet is very popular at the moment. So, as I see it, there are three best things to use your Divine Fonts on. And you can also, some of these you can also use enchanted fossils to substitute for them as well. First one is a high item level hubris circlet. You'll notice here that this hubris circlet is item level 86, and that means that it is capable of rolling absolutely every mod in the game. You'll also notice that it is not influenced. Unlike the one that I'm wearing, which is a Redeemer influenced helmet, this has no influence, it's a clean slate. We're going for the clean slate for a reason, and that is that if we get an outstanding enchant on it, then we're able to apply a Conqueror's Exalted Orb in order to transform it into the influence that synergizes most with the with the enchant and the base. We're using hubris circlets because they are the best defensively of every helmet type. In other league economies, you might consider Royal Burgundies and the highest evasion piece as well. Royal Burgundies are particularly good in conjunction with Molten Shell builds. So if Molten Shell builds were more popular this league, then you would consider going that way. The various high evasion helmets are also good in different meta-games. However, at the moment, Hubris Circlet is the best. So if you're going to go for a rare, what you should do is take a Hubris Circlet that is item level 85 or higher. The difference between 85 and 86 comes down to a couple of additional mods that can roll on 86 that aren't in the highest of demand. They are mostly the minion ones. At the moment, I still think that it is worth using an 86. You're able to buy these in bulk from players. I was able to purchase, I believe I got 27 of them earlier in the league for one Exalted Orb, and you can certainly get more than that. So I'm going to invest one of my uses of the Divine Font on a Hubris Circlet. The second option that you've got is an all-purpose unique item. And I think there's just simply one best case for this, and that is Crown of the Inward Eye. Crown of the Inward Eye drops from Cirrus, the Awakener of Worlds, and it's a really common drop. You'll notice here that this is a perfect roll. I paid 34 Chaos Orbs for this just before recording this video, so it's 9 to 21%. You can either pick up, in a mature league, you can pick up 1 for 1 or 2 Chaos with a bad roll, or if you insist on a perfect roll, you probably pay 30-something Chaos for it. Alternately, you can buy a cheap one, and then if you hit something amazing, you can just spam Divines on it until you get 21%. The third option is Delirium League specific, and that is Alpha's Howl. This Cinetricon is probably the best helmet that exists in the current league because of the rather broken Herald stacking mechanic. That's not going to stick around into future leagues though, so by all means go with Alpha's Howl if you want. There was a period where Alpha's Howl was incredibly lucrative to enchant because basically every reservation reduction option was a really big money spinner. However, there's so many people enchanting them now that the bottom has fallen out of that market. The fourth and final option is something that I don't have any examples of to show you, but this is to take an item that is a crafting base that has the potential to be deterministically turned via chance orbs into a niche unique. And the best example here in the current game is actually a Cinetricon, but not Alpha's Howl, just a normal Cinetricon. When you enchant a Cinetricon, you're looking for two things. The first possibility is that you hit a powerful aura enchant, such as Hatred has 15% less mana reservation, or Discipline has 20% less mana reserved. If you hit one of those, then what you're going to want to do is scour and chance until you get an Alpha's Howl. But not just scour and chance it. You can also, if you're trying to cater to the very wealthiest players, you can also make it look ridiculously cool by applying a Redeemer's Exalt or a Crusader's Exalt first, then Awakener's Orbing onto it additional influence to add Shaper as well. This is for cosmetic value only, but it will make it look amazing. Then quality it up to 30% because there's certainly people who will pay a premium for 30 quality, even though it doesn't do very much at all on Alpha's Howl on the sorts of builds using it. And you have something that looks truly stunning and that stands out, and that is just a step better than all of the other, Discipline has 20% reduced mana reservation, Alpha's Howls are out in the market. To hit 30% on quality on an item, you need to use perfect fossils, and quite a lot of them sometimes. So the other options that you've got along these lines, you could, the other thing that you can do though, if your Cinetricon hits a really good enchant, but not one that synergizes with the Herald stacking builds, so let's say that you hit Ice Nova has 40% increased damage, what you could do then is simply craft it as a caster item. So I'm going to use my Divine Fonts. I've got 2 of them because I used a twice enchanted prophecy. And first up, we're going to do this hubris circlet. I'm going to do one on the crown and one on the circlet. Okay, Scorching Ray Beam Length is a bit of a miss. Scorching Ray is off meta. It is a fairly good enchant for that skill, but it's just not a very popular skill. However, I tend to not roll over hubris circlets because the base is so cheap. So for that reason, I'm going to just throw it into a 1 Exalt tab. If someone is playing Scorching Ray, then great. They're going to be happy with that. Crown of the Inward Eye, and it's Abyssal Cry duration. That's a bit unfortunate. Abyssal Cry is quite a fun skill to play around with, but it's just got no... the duration on it is particularly worthless. So those are 2 examples of duds, but duds happen. I'm just going to throw them both into a 1 Exalt tab for the moment, and then after that I will... And gee, my tabs are a mess. I'll just throw them both into what is a 1 Exalt tab now. Now it can be made public and set exact price on all items, 1 Exalted Orb, and now go tick. And so that's what they're going to sit at, but I don't think either of them are likely to sell. However, it is a numbers game. The Labyrinth is a numbers game, and you can eventually get yourself a reasonable return. The key thing is to not give up, just keep trying, because getting the right enchant for you is extremely unlikely. However, getting the perfect enchant for someone else is not. And that's why I have a whole bunch of hubris circlets here, all ready to go if I decide to go back into the Labyrinth and to do lots of runs. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. Otherwise, I hope you have a good one. And I haven't touched on enchanting boots or gloves. Gloves are never worth it, but boots I think are too easily managed via the use of enchanted fossils in most cases. However, by all means, go for enchants on your own boots if you want. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. Otherwise, hope you have a good one.